Moon. There we go. Alright. Yep. We got air raids going off here in the nest just as we got in here. Now, is Russia the new target of Ukraine? One simple answer. Yes. Why? Because they're at fucking war. What do you expect? They're not going to be attacked? No. Well, Putin did. Right? He thought, Ukraine targeting Russia? That's unacceptable. It's not like we're attacking them all the time. Right? No. So, without further ado, here you have it. 86, hello. A attack in Crimea. Looks like what appears to be some form of energy infrastructure was hit. Look at that. Now that right there is pretty bright. And that's in Crimea, Russian-held territory. Now, Ukraine, not only are they using their drones smartly, they're attacking transport planes inside Russia. 400 miles inside Russia. They are attacking infrastructure, military bases, headquarters. Ukraine knows what they are doing. You got this video right here as well. What appears to be a video of the moment a drone was shut down, I think. Tonight shutting down a Ukrainian drone over the region. They are attacking. And we like it. We like it. So, without further ado here, we will provide you with the latest news. I will. So, Russia, again, has refused any help in the case of the crash of the private jet that held senior Wagner commanders. Now, Prigozhin's dead. We had his funeral. And Russia has refused to have anybody help. Hello, Ocean. Russia has turned down Brazil. Brazil being one of a stauncher allies, you could say so. It's in BRICS, and it's turned down the offer for anybody to help out in the rescue and search for, not search, but investigation of what could have happened to the plane. Now you wonder, why would that be? Why would they turn down help to find out what happened to their great friends, the Wagners? Yeah, why would that be, right? Ivan? Why would that be? Here you have it. Again, this is Japan right here. So everybody said, oh, they're contaminating the waters. They're going to kill us all. Japanese Prime Minister, the Prime Minister, Kashida, and some ministers ate fish and seafood from Fukushima Prefecture, where radioactive water has recently been dumped from nuclear power plant. Oh, my bad. Here you go. So, again, I mean, we have no way of confirming that, but what he's saying is, John, oh, hello, gunshots in, I think that must have been Donetsk. But this is the Prime Minister of Japan eating seafood from the oceans of Fukushima. Well, near Fukushima, right?
東京電力福島第一原発の処理水を海洋に放出して以降、中国が日本産の水産物輸入を全面禁止するなどしていることから、安全性をアピール。
They're saying it's all good. There's an outright lie.
ルする狙いがあったとみられます。岸田総理は明日
It's not contaminated, Pale. That's what people don't get. It didn't get contaminated. Japan has not released its whole... You know, people think that Japan has released every single liter of water it has in its... you know, all that. It's a process of leaking that's going to take 30 years. They're not going to leak it all. They're leaking it over a slow sort of pace. And by the way... Pale... You know... It's not, there's no radiation in the area, okay? So, there, you know, it's safe. I continue to say it's safe. People say it's not. I say it is safe. Prove me wrong, will you? Because I can prove you right. I can prove me right is what I meant to say. The whole rail rate. Well, we have no way of proving that it isn't, and we have no way of proving that it is. They're saying it is, so, you know. A whole railway of Ice Canada operational tactical missiles has arrived on the territory of Republic of Belarus. Check this out. So, this is supposedly for this Brotherhood 2023.
Данный комплекс показывает эффективность своего применения. Он обладает высокой
this combat between CSTO, Ice Canada systems arriving in Belarus.
Оперативным и скрытным средством огневого поражения. Особенностью данного комплекса является применение ракет.
There's nothing wrong with eating the fish. Listen, guys, there's nothing wrong with eating the fish in the Japan seas anymore. There's nothing wrong with it. The fish is, in fact, if there was anything wrong with it, it would be because of China. It would be exactly because of what China has done, releasing their untreated radioactive water into the oceans. What Japan is doing is safe. The fish that they eat from that ocean is safe. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, understand that what people are trying to tell you is fake. They're trying to tell you that Japan is going to destroy our planet by, you know, releasing radioactive materials. It's a process that's going to take 30 years. They're not going to release it all. It's a process of small leaking or planned dumping of treated nuclear water that isn't nuclear in a sense, but it is still radioactive in a sense, but it's very, very safe. It's very, very low numbers. But look at that, guys. I mean, that is, you know, one of the things that Russia still has a lot of. But look at that. This is Russia. This is Belarusian TV right here. That is a lot of Ice Canada systems. Now you wonder to yourself, oh yeah, sure, you know, they're gonna be starting to do operational missions. They're gonna start doing exercise. Oh yeah, sure, that's what they're gonna start to do. With this much, you telling me they're doing exercise with, you know, what is that? 20 fucking systems? 20 Ice Canada systems? Bullshit. All fucking bullshit. It's all fucking a pretext for some stupid bullshit. I mean, it really is. Look, I mean, two hours ago, Ukrainians destroyed or damaged at least 24 Russian aircraft on territory of Russia, Belarus, and in the occupied Crimea. Infographic? What? What are you talking about? A batch. Okay, so according to Berkayin, a train with at least 10 units of the Ice Canada M air defense system arrived in Upevishnik Station, Molhaya region, I can't pronounce that, from the village of, Kapustin, in Astrakhan region. Why does these fucking names? Why can't they just name it fucking John or something? It's John. Everything just needs to be named John. Yeah, I mean, listen, we still don't know if they're gonna attack, but, you know, Russia is famous for pulling these pretexts of, we're gonna be holding drills on the border of another country, and this, you know, we're not gonna attack. That's what they said before Ukraine, right? And we all know what happened to Ukraine. They didn't attack Ukraine, guys. They didn't, you know. They didn't attack Ukraine because they were only holding exercises. You know, they're still exercising. They're still exercising, guys. You know, Russia's still exercising. They're not done exercising yet. The real war starts soon. We're just gonna come out like, we've just finished up our exercises. We're gonna return home soon. This is insane. I mean, this is insane. I mean, it's all over right now as well. 3 hours ago. Now, these systems are, after my understanding, capable of handling tactical nuclear weapons. So those are the low-yield nuclear weapons. I think they're also able to contain. Now, the Minister of Culture of Belarus, who I think was ousted, said that he said that they were going to be conducting, you know, radiation and chemical warfare drills. It's what this is from the first to the 6th, and they're probably going to extend the drills. If I know Russia right, they're going to be training for the first 6 days, and then they're going to be these first 6 days, right? They're going to call it drills. These first 6 days, holy shit. They're going to be calling drills, and these first 6 days they're probably going to use on moving a lot of stuff into, Belarus. And after their completion of moving all that stuff into Belarus, they're probably going to start. Then they're going to say we're going to extend. I just have that feeling, right? So we got it here again. At 3:30 a.m. several TM62 anti-tank mines detonated on the rail bridge 800 meters from Slovak Station. Explosions in Belarus. At 3:30 a.m. several TM62M anti-tank mines detonated on a rail bridge 800 meters from the Slovak Station. In the photo you can see the destroyed railroad track on the bridge right on the border of Belarus with Ukraine. In the photo, you can even see the border post of the Republic of Belarus. Note that the photo was taken from the territory of the Republic of Belarus in view of. You got your nice. Well, welcome in, gamer. It's a good night, gamer. They just moved a lot of Iskander systems to Belarus, so grab your popcorn. Republic of Belarus and in view of Ukraine. It is reported that previously this happened due to a lightning strike as a result of the explosion. The support of the bridge was damaged and rail tracks were destroyed in both directions. There is no more information about the victims. Really? That is interesting. You gotta know, a lightning strike seems far-fetched that a lightning strike would destroy a railroad. I mean, it's one hell of a lightning strike if it's gonna be out here destroying railroads. I gotta say, but that was updated. That was yesterday. That was 3:30 a.m. yesterday. Really? Ukrainian reportedly destroyed at least 24 Russian aircraft. Ukrainian army carried out at least 9 successful attacks on Russian airfields and Belarus. Airfields in Russia and Belarus, and the post-Ukrainian reportedly destroyed at least 24 Russian... Fuck off. Seriously. Media appeared first on Euromedia. Was found guilty. But are they reporting right now? It appears to me that they're reporting, and this is the second one I've had, and I don't understand this. Are they reporting that there's attacks on airfields in Russia and Belarus? And they destroyed at least 24 Russian aircraft. And if that's true, right, which it appears to be, that means that Ukraine has probably just carried out one of the most successful mass air drone attack of any country ever. I mean, 24 planes, Russian planes, Russian aircraft in fucking one night is fucking insane. I mean, that's really, really insane. More than 20 Ukrainian drones attacked an airfield in Pusk. A fuel storage is on fire. Damage reported 22 hours ago. Some people are finding it difficult to believe that a Ukrainian drone attacked an airfield in Pascal because it's more than 600 kilometers or 400 miles. We believe it's true. I mean, we had the initial reports was 4 transport aircraft that was located in the Peskov. There we go. Airfield. There was at least 4 transport planes, maybe a supersonic bomber. I still haven't gotten that completely, although they're now reporting these 24. So it's possibly it's not all transport, and some and that there are some systems as that. Well, I don't know, Rose. It appears to me that some people are saying that they attacked in Belarus. I mean, I find that very hard to believe. Think that if they attack inside of Belarus, it would have to be because they are either very sure that Belarus is gonna attack them, or yeah. No. Yeah, no, nothing happened today. I said yesterday. Yesterday they carried out one of the most successful drone attacks of this war. I don't think we've seen anything. I don't think we've ever actually seen anything. If that's true, 24 Russian aircraft is possibly, the most successful air attack you could have ever seen anywhere, really. You have the Magma 10, just came back from Bulgaria. Looks like it came from the Black Sea. Let's go over the planes that are up right now. We got a Russian plane in Saudi Arabia. Down here we have a Boeing 747, probably Kazakhstan. I mean, I do know that they usually fly those up. We got a Doomsday plane. We got 2 Doomsday planes. We got a River Joint flying next to one of the Doomsday planes right there. And E3. I did not hear anything about Belarus. I don't believe they attacked inside Belarus. They may have flown over Belarus. I mean, maybe that's what they're pointing out. I mean, I just find it hard to believe that Ukraine would go actively attacking Belarus for no reason, since Zelensky just pointed out in the speech he made just not too long ago, he pointed out that he was, hoping for a defeat of Russia would mean a liberated Belarus. So I don't know. It's I've got no idea, really. It's hard to know, I mean, a lot of people say a lot of things, and we got these systems moving in. So if Ukraine attacks, if Ukraine attacks Belarus, what they sniffing tonight? Yeah, I mean, we gotta know, right? We got 2 Doomsday planes up. I mean, if Ukraine attacks Belarus, it's either because they are so sure that Belarus or Russian forces alongside Belarusian forces was going to attack them. And if they blew up that railroad, which we've just, read reports of a railroad that apparently blew up. It's not an untrusted person. I read it from there. I mean, if that's true as well, you got to note that whatever happened yesterday was a lot. Yeah, we got a river joint came from over here. I wonder where that's been. Probably doing rounds over here. Why not? We have a E3 in the area as well, of course. A lot of civilians going on in the U.S. tonight. A lot of tankers, transport planes, alongside 2 doomsday planes. That's just on. That is just on Flight Trader. It's going 88 speed. Usually got some more planes up. I bet there's probably some P8s up. We know MapMat 10, which was a drone, was up earlier in the Black Sea. There's probably P8 somewhere in the long. I mean, I'm just thinking about it, right? We got some Super Galaxies. You got a lot of transport going on. There you go. You got some P8s. We got an unmarked one. We got a tanker right there. I think that's another. That's a 767 right there. Do we have a P8 under there? Oh, 767. Yeah, we got the we got that E3 over there. That's one we tracked for. A lot of choppers up in Florida. Probably helping out. There should be a storm coming in here soon. We're gonna watch a video about that. We got an Air Force. We got Air Force 2 up. Is that Air Force 2? That's Air Force 2, right? I gotta be on my toes there. We have an E6 just outside Washington here. That's not something I've seen before. I would imagine if Belarus was attacked by Ukraine, we would have heard a bit more about it, I think some people are just riding on the narrative that Ukraine couldn't do it, and therefore it was somebody else, and therefore, there's a lot of fake news out there, a lot of people talking a lot of stuff. Look, what I know and what I know now is that a successful attack by Ukraine was conducted yesterday inside Russia by long-range Beaver drones that Ukraine has gotten its hands on and knows how to use. One of the most successful attack took out 24 Russian aircrafts, which is an insane number and very well done. As to how they did it, if they flew over Belarusian territory or around, I have no idea. Shortest route would definitely be flying, inside. I think I hear shots in the background there. Would definitely be flying, inside. But if they don't want to anger the Belarusians, because I don't think Ukraine has any intentions of wanting to do anything stupid at the moment with Belarus. Not that, attacking Belarus would be that much of a challenge. I mean, it's... but, Ukraine is not going to be instigating a war. Ukraine doesn't want to instigate anymore. It has enough on its hands already. In the sense that it has a war it's fighting already. I'm sure it could keep off the Belarusians as much as it could keep off the Russians. Because the Belarusians are Russians. Belarusians are 1950 Cold War gear shit. But now we're seeing all these Iskander systems, all kind of anti, air guns, all that aircrafts and stuff like that moving into Belarus. They're going to conduct drills. I think it's a pretext. I've no idea. They could just be genuinely holding drills. The only thing you got to know about these guys, these authoritarian people, is that they don't just conduct drills. What they do is that they literally... oh, hello. Explosions in the background there in Ukraine. Good morning, Ukraine. Hello. What are you doing today? So they don't just hold drills usually like NATO do. Unless when they hold drills, it's either to put on a show of force or if because they're about to do something very stupid. And we know, there we go. Hello. Going off there in Ukraine. we know that if Russia holds drills, it's because they're about to do something on the border. It's because either they're about to do something stupid, or they're about to do something stupid. Because Russia doesn't hold drills anymore anywhere unless it's about to do something. We've learned our lessons, okay? Now, good news on the Ukrainian front, though. As you can see, the Ukrainians are breaking through more Russian lines here. This is today alone. We've seen a push to the right here. About a 1 kilometer push up along, very close to these Russian troops here. Or stations or whatever that is. You know, if they're about to overrun the enemy, there appears to me that what they're trying to do is go around these defenses. If they, you know, this map could be incomplete. There could be defenses here, but if they're trying to go around, which could be a thing, you know, they don't realize that there's defenses here trying to go around, push in, go around the defenses. Could be a lot shorter war, and if that's what they're doing, because then you're fighting a very experienced Ukrainian army with a lot more experienced troops that are now fighting directly on a very, very, you know, open field right here against unexperienced Russian troops. You're going to get a lot of bad stuff happening there. But, you know, for the Russians. So, we got more pushes along the front line here. Perhaps, do we... Appears that the mainly focus right now is over in that area. We have a small take over here in the Luhansk region. Sorry, Donetsk region. And that appears to be it for now. Not any major changes unless you look at the Ukrainian changes. Then there is a pretext for a greater success here. That's what you got for your front line up news here. Let's go check if there is some other news I could show up here. Just as we go along. Is there a Russian plane up? There is a Russian plane up. We got some Russian cargo planes up at the moment. That's pretty much it. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Alright, we got news from... Oh, more explosion here in the background. We got news from Flash here, and I'm going to keep... Oh, we got a lot of explosions happening in the background there. Look at that. Look at that. Donetsk region has had 2 explosions, Kramatorsk and Pokrovsky district, which is both on the Ukrainian side. Kharkiv out turning on. Air sirens that's going on here. Could wait a second here for that. I'm going to show you the daily news from Flash, and then we're going to go on. In the enemy, the Black Sea has put surface-to-air rocket launchers on combat duty. The small missile ship on Bar M project can equipped with 4 caliber missiles. Oh, we got good areas turning on here now. We got reports 48 seconds ago of maybe naval attack happening here. Some kind of caliber cruise missiles. Show temporary occupied earlier. Ukraine and Norway has agreed on a transport visa-free regime. It will begin to operate from September 1st. The report press service of Minister of Development, Territories and Infrastructure of Ukraine basically means they can move in and out of the country without having to show visas, making transport that much more easier. Great job. Direction 6 pilots of the 8th Separate Army Innovation Brigade died yesterday. 2 M8 helicopter crashed under unknown circumstances. DPR is investigating. Names are not yet been released. The security person. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we... Oh, there we go. go, guys. More explosions happening in the background here. There's a train in Denmark called the Letbanen, which is just derailed in Odense, and has because of a collision between a car with a car, very extreme one. God damn. Can I just ask, what's wrong with my Colonel right now? I mean, he's freezing every single second he's talking. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with him. I just think he's getting old. I mean, really. I mean, I hope he's not... As he says he's running for president, or running for office one more time. He needs to consider the fact that he needs to retire and go back and relax. He can't even hold up a speech anymore without freezing up on the fucking spot. He's not fit for duty anymore. He needs to retire. My Colonel, great guy, but... Well, he's a guy. Well, he's all right. As he's freezing up on his speeches, you know, he's gotta think about the retirement. Well, we'll show you the daily news of Flash here. Get this up here.
Это даже страшно. Не пойму, в каком районе.
Горят два самолета на нашем аэропорту Псковском. Атака, говорят, дронов. 021, надо нет, неизвестно. 021, прием.
Я заснялся.
Боремося за них так, як вони боролися за нас. Але що ми вкладаємо в це слово боротися за них? Наша боротьба точно не повинна спрямовуватися.
Это она так пролетела близко, это вообще жесть просто.
I just want to stop here for a second. So I have a little bit of news here. So we have the what happened here in Belarus, of course, happening today and yesterday. Well, you know, yesterday night. What happened in Belarus was months ago, the 28th of 2nd of 2023. They don't explain that when they, make their news, and that's why people get confused, because that's the way they do things. They don't explain when it was. Now they're saying these 24 Russian planes, it's not from yesterday alone. Yesterday, maybe up to 6 was attacked. That's what we know of, up to 6. Now, the rest of the other 24 were further back. Some were even back into 2022. So, what happened in Belarus was a long, long time ago. Now, I don't know if Ukraine, what happened here or whatever, what really actually happened there. It was a long time ago, so nothing we have to worry about. Figure that out. So, no attack in Belarus. That was a long time ago. So, just want to say that.
Qui se traduit par une dégradation continue.
Yep, and that's also another thing. So, stop. Go back here. God damn it. Let's see. That is your news there from Ukraine as of what's going on right now. Nothing, a lot actually, a lot from the Ukrainian perspective. A lot of good stuff. Now, how the people of Gabon celebrated after the military coup. Seeing people celebrating military regime over democracy is evident to know the level of hardship the masses were introduced. Gabon, Mali, Niger, Togo, ECOWAS were giant of Africa. So we have a video here. This is them celebrating, the military coup. Another military coup. I mean, Africa is fighting back. I knew this kind of was going to happen. I didn't exactly say it, but when one falls, the other realizes that if they can stand up to their oppressors and in ways that not only have the West continued to sort of oppress, their ways are, you know, unprecedented right now. But yeah, they are wanting to throw their... They're willing to overthrow it now, which is another thing, right? These military war leaders wanting to overthrow these countries. And I think if there is real change, I would personally let it happen. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? You know, they're not going to be attacking us. So if I was the wise person there, I would just let it happen and see what happens, right? And then deal with it afterwards. So, National Council of Defense of the Fatherland, formed by military who carried out coup in Niger, have now demanded the complete withdrawal of French troops from the country by September 3rd. This is coming shortly after a successful mission takeover earlier today in Gabon. Details later. Yeah. I mean, they are, they're going at it, right? We need fully independent, no more neo-colonialism, Gabon, Mali. Yeah, they're all wanting to break free. So it sends everybody always goes, but they are free. You know, but you know, Niger and all these people who have basically installed these governments that are still installed, you know, after the fall of their empires. These governments that are still installed inside these countries, and these you know, European countries still clinging on to a past. England has kind of given its way up on it. Other than that, you know, you have France, who are the ones who are continuing to sort of go for it, right? So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. The West eventually may have to intervene because explosions there in Kharkiv. You know, you probably can't let them take over the whole world. You probably gotta make them stop at some point, which is what their intentions are now. We're gonna probably stop you at one point. We just gotta figure out if it's justified or not. You know, whether public opinion is behind going to an African country to fight, you know, in African things and African problems. In reality, it really is a African problem. You know, let's face it here. African, you know, problems take African solutions, and if the people are behind it, now the only way that you would maybe have to intervene is when the you know, takeover turns violent and turns unhumanitarian. That's when you really, you know, got to think about, do I need to intervene here? This was been reported in Bryansk region of Western Russia following a claimed shutdown of at least 2 attack drones over the region. This does not look like it was shut down to me. Voice defender. We got a video here. God damn. That looked pretty straight down. It looked like it was shot. It was directly shot down. That looked pretty straight to me. Like it gone straight down for it. Another angle there. Yeah, I mean, Russia is under attack, guys. Russia is under attack. And I am so sad for Ukraine. I'm so sad that Ukraine has to sit through Russian attacks. So, take it up your ass, you know, Russia. Seriously, now you get your taste of your own medicine. That's what happens when you're assholes to another people who got the exact same things that you do, and in fact now has capabilities to attack you inside your country. Way inside your country. So don't mistake it, you know? Don't mistake it. They're doing great. They're doing great. They're doing great. In Airbus, we have the Airbuses. Well, the Airbus is over the UK. Transport planes, Merlins, not even Apache. Oh, the Airbus is up. That E6 just moved past Washington and now is in New York. Just above New York. We do have a river joint. 2 river joints. We got that Doomsday plane and the river joint right next to each other doing rounds in what's that? Lincoln? Yeah, Lincoln. Omaha. Right, that's Omaha? Oh, no. Yeah, Nebraska. Yeah. So, I think the most exciting news here, or the most recent news, is that we got, yeah, open up wide, Russia. We got the most exciting news here, you know, more scarier news. There's apparently these Iskander systems, operational tactical missile systems have arrived on the territory of Republic of Belarus. We're going to have to see the developments of this. The exercises, in which are going to start, in 2 days, on the 1st to the 6th. Again, as I'm repeating myself now, they're probably going to take a little longer than that, but you know. Nick. Lots of stuff. Lots of stuff happening. Lots of stuff. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm watching through here. Watching through, seeing what's happening, see what's going on, see what's going on, see what's going on. What is news? What is new? 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 What do we want to know? Nothing coming out there. Nothing everyone coming out there. What's this one right here? Let's check out what's going on in Poland. Or maybe some stuff going on there in Poland. Countries maybe closing their border very soon with Russia here, so we're gonna check that out, see what's going on there. Okay, so got nothing. Not a lot going on there. Nothing I hadn't already reported. This is a whole waiting game thing, you know. You gotta wait to see what happens. Wait to see what happens. Per GDP triple between. We got. This is me right now. This is me. Shit, what do I got? What do I got? Do I got anything? Do I have anything? What do I got? What do I got? Me right there. No, but I mean, listen. Whatever happened there yesterday, it was a great, successful attack. One which we've seen many of. Supposedly continuing now, as it has been going on for quite a while. I mean, apparently Ukraine are now upping their attacks inside Russia. Some of their first attacks happened even years ago, you know. I mean, a year ago in 2022. Yeah, I mean, it's great, you know, because it means that Ukraine has moved away from being afraid to strike inside Russia and really is saying that we are not, you know, subjects to a stronger nation. We are subject to fighting a war on equal grounds, which Ukraine has now demonstrated by firing inside Russia and saying, you fire inside our territory, we are allowed to fire inside your territory. The United States, given the green light, obviously. I think these drones may be Ukrainian made. I don't really think that, you know, the United States has to give any green light when that comes to it. The only way that, you know, they haven't given the green light for is using the HIMARS systems to strike targets inside Russia. Which is, you know, funny. Because, if Ukraine was allowed to strike targets with HIMARS systems, which they could just do inside of Russia, they could start targeting transport, not only trains, but vehicles and stuff like that, moving towards the front, you know. And I think, you know, if they were allowed to use HIMARS systems to transport, to take out those transports and resupplies coming into the army, we could definitely make that a thorn in the side of the Russians. Couldn't take out every single one of them, but an effective HIMARS attack would definitely be worth it. I think the only problem is it takes a lot to replace HIMARS systems. You know, it costs a lot more to replace a lot of HIMARS systems than it does to replace a lot of drones. So that's why they're using drones mainly right now. We do have a P8. What do we got? We got a P8? Oh. Tankers? Nothing over Japan. United Kingdom military had an Airbus in China that took off. Of course. They're coming to reclaim their colonial rule. No, they never controlled China. I know. Hong Kong, they did. Hong Kong. You know, Hong Kong advocates for being part of the Great Britain again, and Great Britain is actually all for it. They want to be part of. It was one of the last things that Great Britain gave up their territory for. You know, people think, you know, they've completely given up on their empire. You know, Great Britain still has a lot of islands in not only the Pacific, but they have some in the Atlantic, some down towards. Of course, they still, I believe, to this day, own the Falkland Islands, don't they? Pretty sure they still own the Falkland Islands. Yeah, they do still own the Falkland Islands, which is one thing. So they got a pretty big island in the what's that sea called? It's called, I know. Give it a sec. Let's give it a sec, guys. Come on. Don't be so rude. Give it a sec. The North Atlantic Ocean, right? There you go. And then we got the South Atlantic Ocean. There you go. That's what it's called. Yeah. South Atlantic Oceans. There you go. They own some territory down there. They have San Marino Island, I think, or something like that. Or they got a lot of islands out in the middle of the Atlantic. They got a lot of those. They also have a random island just outside called Rockfall Islands, which is like because they want it, maritime claim. So they said like, oh, this we own this one, and then they said, all right, was that actually an island? So how can you own it? And they say, you know, because we want to own it. And they say, okay, well, fair enough. A big day for drones, Patrick. Big day for drones. Yeah, it certainly is. 4 Russian aircrafts, as far as we know, 4 was destroyed and 6 was 2 extra was then damaged. I don't know if they're repairing it. It's probably gonna take them a while to repair that. You know, Russian speeds for repairing things are like a hamster trying to make it across the planet. It's never gonna happen. Yeah. What are you talking about, Patrick? What do you mean? Not sure I understand your question there, but since the beginning of the year, more than 190 drones attacks have been carried out on the territory of Russian Federation and temporarily occupied Ukraine. Crimea is reported by the BBC. It is noted that at least the latest strikes direct at at least 6 Russian regions and most massive in 2023. Look at that. But look at Moscow in particular as well. Look at that. Look at how Moscow is completing. Russia and Ukraine can't win. Well, sure. Ukraine can't win. Ukraine's gonna very likely take back the territory of what it has now. I'm still somewhat conflicted in if it's actually are going to be going for Crimea, but I surely believe they're gonna be taking back the territory that they have now. We're seeing the pretext for them to be able to take it back. So yeah, I would say that there's very big opportunities for Ukraine to win this one. So that's my view on it. We got the naval drones attack. Well, of course, there's many dead. It's a war. You know, what do you expect? There's Moscow. We got Peskov, which was up here, which was yesterday. So that's Peskov right there. This is also from yesterday. This down here is, you know, mainly. But look at Moscow. You know, it's like you know, Kyiv saying Moscow attacks Kyiv a lot, therefore we'll attack Moscow a lot. It's like who can attack the most, right? And it's very effective, I think. I think it's effective in a way of showing just how far along the war has gone to the Russian people, who are many of them unknown as to what the current situation is on the front line. And what the Ukraine is doing now is showing the Russian people just how incompetent and how unable, you know, the Russian air defenses, or even in general the Russian forces are, you know, and even doing the simplest things as to shoot down a drone, which we know Ukraine has been very successful in doing many times over. In fact, we've even seen air defenses go up along inside these especially in Odessa. We've seen many air defenses go up and hit, and you know, so very good. Yeah, water levels at the ZPP still is stable as of right now. A slight drop in the water, but that doesn't appear to be any major concern. As what was heard right now, everything should be functional. Very great and functional at the moment. Yeah, indeed. Ooh, hello. Brest strikes confirmed. We saw that earlier there. More strikes today alone, which actually looked like more of a well, with Europe still strongly behind the ideologies of protecting the interests of Ukraine, and to point out that, you know, the U.S. can't just stop supplying Ukraine. It can't just stop. A lot of people think that when the president is there, they can just stop. That is not how it works. You can't just stop. When you've committed to something, you can't just stop, you know, supplying all of a sudden and say, this is not what we want to do. You committed to it, sent a lot of things there, and I think it would be a longer process, and Russia, not only would the U.S. put its positions in NATO as being quite shaky, you know, but its commitment seen around the world, not only would it be seen as a weak power, and would allow Russia to gain more power over the U.S. to really just say that, oh, look at the U.S. It can't even supply its own. It can't even supply a smaller war. Imagine them trying to supply a big war, you know, against us, and we have been supplied, and we know how to fight, and we can do it, you know. So if the U.S. and yes, I mean, if the U.S. does stop supplying, Ukraine is royally fucked. I mean, let's be honest, you know. Let's be honest. If the U.S., right, which is the biggest supporter, and if the European Union, not seeing the war going the right way, decides to stop as well, gradually the supplies are stopping, which I don't think. I mean, there's a lot of European countries that appears to have been digging in to the end, and perhaps we here in Europe can and will provide what we need to provide for this war to end. But let's be honest here, if the U.S. stays out of this war, what the amount of ammunition that Ukraine could get would be so low that they would have trouble fighting. So yes, I mean, honestly, they could be in a lot of trouble. if they would lose by it, I don't know. But you know, that's also in 2024, and to think about the amount of equipment that the Russians have left in 2024, you know, you also got to think, can the Russians keep up fighting to the 2024? So yeah, I mean, it's a lot, right? So kind of like a 50-50. Sure, I think the Ukrainians would struggle a lot more, but yeah. You know, but the U.S. stopped supplying. They're very royally fucked if the U.S. decides to one day just cease all transport. But not only would the U.S. be seen as a falling superstar, it would literally be seen as the weakest, you know, motherfucker ever, because it would just be given the whole. Well, you're welcome. It would just show the whole world, you know, if it pulls out this war right now, if it says we won't supply you anymore, it'll just show the whole world just how unprepared and how not only weak, but how resilient the U.S. have become to fighting wars, you know, in Europe. And again, you know, the U.S. is part of NATO, and most of the NATO countries is in Europe, so if it says to itself and it says that it's unwilling to fight wars in Europe for a longer time, you know, you gotta imagine that at one point that's just, you know, the U.S. may conduct its own ability to simply just, you know, leave NATO. I mean, it you know, it is far-fetched, but you gotta imagine that if the U.S. is not willing to supply wars that are simply, you know, important for its survival as a superpower, then how is it going to maintain the ability to continue to supply and fight active wars around the world? The U.S. would be seen as a strong but very weak-minded country, right? And a very, you know, very, very yeah, I don't know. Very, yeah, it's a long answer, right? But very weak. It would be a weak choice if they were to pull out. And everybody knows it. So, you know, these new presidents are saying, Trump does not like NATO. No, he likes NATO. He just doesn't like the factor that we are not committing to NATO. And I will give Trump the benefit of the doubt here, because he did point out that the NATO deals said that we had to use our 2%, you know, of our GDP on you know, NATO our military. God damn it, 2% of our GDP on the military. Many countries don't do that. Trump pointed it out, and in all fairness, that's fair, because he said it's not fair for the U.S. taxpayers to be paying those 4%, while others in Europe are lacking behind and not wanting to commit to actually doing it. So I will give him that. So I think he likes NATO and he wants NATO, but he doesn't exactly like the way we're running NATO. I think he would definitely like to run NATO differently. That's definitely how he wants to look at it. But I think Trump is definitely one of the candidates that still has a lot of meritism. Although I will say there's still a lot of support for Biden, but I don't know if he's going to be winning one more term. I don't know if he's going to win one more term. You know, I really don't know, because I don't know if there's enough support for Biden. But if we want, you know, Ukraine to continue to fight, we need Biden. You know, and not just people like, oh, how dare you? It's like, well, you know, we have to, in many ways, if we want to continue this war and want to see Ukrainian victory, we need to get those extra 4 years for Biden. Learned and enthusiastic in spreading communism. Oh, wow. We're gonna need 4 more years with that, with the Biden guy, if we want to see this war come to its good end. It's at the end of where Ukraine gets its victory and we kick Russia's butt back to Bordeaux, you know. So I want to see. I would very much like to see that. Very much. And also, I think in very shaky times, when a country is quite shaken, you know, putting out the leadership sometimes is a bad choice. Although I will say, you know, that Ramsey guy, apparently he's been quite up in the news. You know, Ramsey, I don't know his name, but there's he looks a bit Mexican, doesn't he? Or he doesn't look African American. I think he's Mexican or Latino or something. I don't know, Latino or whatever. He looks a bit South American, but I don't know. Which is, you know, completely fine. That's not my point. I was just trying to pinpoint where he was from. So, you know. But he's definitely not behind continuing to support this war in Ukraine. He's definitely behind supporting the factor that he said that our goal should not be to see Putin lose, which is, you know, I do have a great insight because I am brilliant. No, it's just because I am brilliant. No, sorry, it's just because I'm brilliant. No, sorry, keep saying it. No, yeah, you get it. I don't know what's wrong with me right there. It's just because I'm so, you know, brilliant. No. Come on, guys. Don't tell me I'm brilliant. I know I already am. No. I did. How y'all guys doing today? If you have not liked or subscribed, please do. It is only free. I am only asking once. And if you don't, I will find you. I don't know where you live. No way of contacting you or finding you. I've got no idea how to use a computer and find an IP address. I am not that clever. But if you do, in fact, not subscribe, I will find you in about 20 business days. And then I'll be very close to do something, maybe. I don't know. You gotta start threatening people. That's the effective way. You saying, you don't subscribe, I'm gonna find you. What? Zelensky has signed a law restricting the sales of tobacco products and alcohol beverages in duty-free stores. This is stated the card of relevant bill. The law comes into force on September 1st. Well, listen, I get the tobacco, you know, maybe, you know, but I just don't get. Well, actually, no, I don't get that. Well, maybe they're having a problem with soldiers drinking or smoking too much. That, of course, is a side effect of war sometimes. There is the inevitable depression that comes along with it. You know, a lot of these soldiers fighting on the front lines have no idea how their homeland looks like. And many of them, you know, are people who's probably escaped from the captured area, you know. And these captured areas are... Many of those who lived there died, and this is one of the most casualized zones. So demoralizing. They're certainly not demoralized, but they in many ways could be depressed because of the way, you know how the war and stuff has unfolded, and they're unsure of the well-being of their family, and that does put a mental, side on your mental pressure on you to react in different ways. And then, alcohol and tobacco is one of those ways to get, Well, that's what I think. You know, I don't. You know, Vaughn. When people in World War II and all that stuff, obviously it was a different time. But in Afghanistan, very modern wars, we've seen many of them smoke. I mean, I feel like smoking is not something that's going to get you high. In fact, smoking has proven not only does it have abilities if it's cold to warm up the body, it also has abilities to calm nerves of soldiers. It has, you know, it has shown effects like that. Well, I don't know, Vaughn. There's nothing wrong with Zelensky. Maybe he's, you know, let's imagine that maybe it was a decision made by the Council of Ukraine that was maybe one of those decisions that you don't really particularly need. I think what he's doing is trying to make the Ukrainian military so much like the U.S. military, because I think in the U.S. military you're not allowed to. I don't even think. Are you allowed to smoke in the U.S. military? Like, are you allowed to do anything in the U.S. military? Maybe it's like the whole discipline idea behind it. Patient people, yeah. Well, we're gonna see how these soldiers react, right? Because, well, I mean, listen, it could be, maybe the soldiers are still loud. We don't know. Hey, listen, there are probably gonna be other ways for them to get their hands on it. Let's imagine that, right? But they run past a Russian position. Not only is it gonna be filled with vodka, because that's the only way the Russians fight anymore. It's just throwing a lot of vodka bottles at the Ukrainians. It could be they could be running by a lot of cigarettes as well, because the Russians, they smoke a lot. Like, they smoke a lot, you know. One of those things. I think Zelensky is turning his, not only the country, but not only the country and its military is turning very Western. Like, it's turning very disciplinarian like, and as much as I like that, you know, we are on the missions. You are you are in the Western countries, you know, smoking, drinking, all that is not allowed. So you are not, you know, in particularly going to be, you know, drinking and stuff like that in the Western. But that's funny, because the way Zelensky imagines the Western military is this disciplined, hardened soldiers. You'd go down to Afghanistan in front of the officers, right? Those soldiers are not going to be drinking. You know, the U.S. soldiers, they wouldn't be drinking. They're not going to be drinking in front of the officers. But as soon as they get out of the range of the officers, they're on their missions, they're going to pop a beer. And people are like, oh, they wouldn't do that. Yeah, they would. Okay? Because soldiers, not only do they use it to calm their minds once in a while, but they, you know, one beer at a time won't hurt you. And especially, it's also sometimes during Christmas times or stuff like that, they have fun, and they, you know, it's sometimes I do reckon drinking and tobacco and definitely cigarettes should be allowed. Although smoking a lot of cigarettes is going to limit your ability to run. So that's why they're sometimes limiting the ability to do it. Oh, I'm rambling on here. I don't know why sometimes I talk a lot. Got a lot to say. Got a lot to talk about. I just think it's weird how Zelensky, instead of protecting the ideologies of what his nation is about, he changed the date of Christmas, which is you changed the date of Christmas, of the Ukrainian Christmas, which used to be in January. He changed that to the 25th, which is, you know, the American Christmas Day. He quite famously turned many of the Ukrainian traditions, some of those traditions very Ukrainian, but he's also kept alive a lot of the older Ukrainians, you know, so it's kind of like a 50-50. Well, that's a harsh statement, Vaughn, but I think maybe what he's doing it because they have a disciplinarian problem. You know, I gotta still imagine a lot of these people are still new people, and you know, they're Ukrainians. I don't know. You know, it certainly seems like an unnecessary decision, but sometimes, you know, leaders make decisions that aren't always seen in the eyes of everybody as a sensible decision, and yeah, we don't know, but yeah, we can, yeah. The fuck is that? Where's a jet? Or that? They're firing at a jet for. Oh, sorry, I forgot I had my way of. Doing this. What the fuck is this? Is this? Are you firing at a jet? Oh, they are. Look at that. Is that flares? They're firing at it. It probably looks like some kind of air show, doesn't it? That looks like some kind of air show. I don't know. Flares, maybe? It could have been flares. I don't know. I mean, if the air defenses, that was air defense right there. They didn't do a great job. And that was air defense right there. That was not the world's best air defense they got going for themselves right there. But it appears to maybe have been. What is it? That's actually a funny thing. What happened right there? They aren't the entrant. Screenshot mid flash. Yeah, I have no idea what that is. It appears to be some kind of jet. It has one engine, which is not typical of Russian design. So it's a MiG. MiGs have one engine, right? Well, yeah, I guess the older versions of the Russian MiGs only had one engine, right? Well, a lot of them didn't have. A lot of them had two engines. I don't know. Seems weird. Anyways, look at that. Okay, so here's what we have. So there's a lot of talk about this Wagner, right? So here we have it. I mean, this is what? Put a Wagner mercenaries aboard the AN transport plane were in circles out waiting for the drone for the order to restart the coup. But this is in Kazan. This is not in Belarus. So what is he talking about? People are saying this right here, that this was Wagner soldiers. But you're telling me that the Wagner soldiers were here. And where did they come from? They're already past Moscow, and they're here, circling around. What? What? No, they're not even. That's not even what it's doing. What you're showing the plane doing is going up in altitude. What it's doing is flying in place and going up in altitude. You can literally see flying in place. Now there you go. It goes a little bit down in altitude. He's flying around for a while, and then he goes up in altitude. It appears to just be going. It appears to just be flying around to try and go up. Yeah, that definitely does not seem like an AN-124 would be carrying a lot of Wagner soldiers. It seems a bit unlikely. That's not even a paratroop. You can't even do that. It seems very unlikely to me that there was an AN-124 carrying a bunch of Russian PMC Wagners. No, that's very unlikely that there would. And by the way, they're past Moscow, and we didn't see them fly in from Belarus. So you're telling me they were stationed in Moscow or behind Moscow? Seems a bit unlikely. This is just another proof of people uploading stuff and then, you know, saying this is what's happening without actually knowing what the fuck is happening. Because how does he know that that was Wagner? You know, how does he go, oh, that's Wagner? You know, how do you know? Is that because I know? Yeah, but what proof do you have that that's Wagner? I don't know. I just like to say that it's Wagner so I can get a lot of like and attention. Because I live on attention. We got a Kawasaki P1 over Japan. That's a fucking Recon. Oh God, I'm missing my words here. Yeah, exactly. Fear porn for likes, right? You know, it seems very unlikely. By the way, a Russian AN-124. Those are big planes, cargo. One of the biggest cargo planes that Russia is flying nowadays, and it's a Russian, right? Tell me exactly where do you think that this big-ass cargo plane is gonna... I mean, it can have soldiers in it, right? And you telling me that this big-ass cargo plane right here is carrying, you know, VMC Wagner soldiers, and they were gonna be flying over Moscow doing what? Parachuting out of a plane? What do you think they're going to be doing? Opening up the hatch? If they open up this hatch right here while mid-flight, they're going to be sucked out of the airplane. You got to have a open door. Or just jump out of a fucking plane like that. No, these planes aren't designed for that. You don't use these big ass planes for air transport. Look at that. Well, the fucking front as well. So, you know, rarely have I ever heard a story of an AN-24 being used to carry soldiers to a front line, which, by the way, they were past Moscow. So just keep in mind sometimes when you read it and then look at the things that's going on and then think to yourself, does that make sense? And then you go, no, it doesn't, because it doesn't make shit sense. It doesn't make any sense. Anyways, that's a lot. That is a lot of knowledge to be incorporating inside your mind. I hope you understood what I was saying. You probably did. That's okay. All you need to know is, was all this legal? Of course not. Any of you watch Wolf of Wall Street? That's a great reference to Wolf of Wall Street. Such a great movie. I love it so much. It's very graphic, but it's great. It's very graphic. I mean, it's a very graphic movie, but it's very great. I mean, Margot Robbie is in it. You know, I think a lot of people watch that movie because of the fact she's in it and does things in it. Yeah, we don't have to talk about that. It's a great movie, great movie. Love Leonardo DiCaprio. What a great actor. I don't know. I do think maybe one time he should date somebody his own age, but we won't talk about that right now. I'm sure he's heard that before. Sex sells. Well, you're not wrong. It does. Probably does. Doesn't it? We got an Airbus A330. Goddamn, Airbus A Russian taken off from St. Petersburg. Could it be going to Kaliningrad? Could it be going to the other side of the world? We don't know. Do we know? No, we don't. What was I gonna group here? Oh yeah. This is one of these things, right? There are shit ton of planes like continuously flying back and forward from Russia and Kaliningrad. Like, it's insane. If you go through and you watch the amount of planes going from Moscow to Kaliningrad, it's insane. I mean, it is minute and minute. And Kaliningrad is still a very, very heavily militarized area, but it is, you know, in many ways, it is very, very exposed. Because it's on the European plain, which is one of the hardest areas to defend. And if you're on the European plain and you have to defend, you know, and if anything was to happen, that would be a hard-fought battle. To just try and defend Kaliningrad, that'd be very, very hard. I mean, Russians trying to defend Kaliningrad would be very intensely hard. I think that would be very unlikely to happen, I think. Malachi? Oh shit. Okay. Oh, hello, dude. What's up? Welcome in. Malachi, the Irish man. I put my Twitter. Oh, there we go. Reckons the U.S. will be at war within 12 months. Well, Tucker Carlson says a lot of things, Patrick. Says a lot of things. Doesn't matter. Tucker, listen, unless anything is to happen here, we're not gonna see a war happen. Tucker Carlson is a Fox News representative, and he is not a, you know, Jewish general. Tucker Carlson is not a U.S. general or something like that. He's just, so what are we doing here? It's, the, Ukrainian war, my guy. We, are just checking the stuff out. We've been going through the news. Probably about emptying out the news by now. You know? Emptying out the news by now, I'd say. Yeah, he's obviously gonna be, Tucker Carlson, he's interviewed a lot of, you know, important people. He's recently interviewed Donald Trump. But he doesn't, you know, he's not a U.S. general. He doesn't exactly know what's about to happen. So he can call out as much as you want. He's not going to be, you know, don't exactly believe what he says. I'd say he knows what he's talking about in a sense, but I don't, you know, unless the U.S. general tells me we're about to be in war, I'm not going to be too much worried. Oh, I know Malachi personally, Ocean. He's a software developer. He's got his own channel. You guys want to check out Malachi, you can do that too. He makes his own sort of, if you ever need any tech help, go over there. He knows what he's talking about. That's definitely going to be interesting. I mean, the whole idea behind Belarus now having moved, Russia now having moved some of those Iskander systems into you know, Belarus. And if you haven't seen the video here, we'll show it again here just to people who was here a little later. So we got all these videos here coming in here. So look back here. These are Iskander systems, right? They are operational, able to carry tactical nuclear or conventional weapons, right?
Данный комплекс показывает эффективность своего применения. Он обладает высокой и разрушительной огневой мощью. Несмотря на свои значительные габариты, является маневренным, оперативным и скрытным средством огневого поражения.
Is Iskander system. You see the whole line back there. We're moving into Belarus at a rapid rate, right? What you gotta note is they're doing exercises. They're doing Combat Brotherhood 2023, right? And these countries, you see STO, right? They don't do regular exercises. They just do, you know, what they want when they want. And Russia has previously made a pretext for an invasion of a country that we are very familiar with. The last time they invaded a country that was, you know, Ukraine, they said, we're going to be exercising on the border. Oh, okay. So now, Belarus and Russia and Kazakhstan is going to be doing exercises on NATO borders. That's going to be conducting radiation and chemical exercises. Why they would need to do that, got no idea. It has no tactical meaning to conduct such exercises. You know, NATO did it, but when they did it, it was 21 days, you know, of exercising. They're going to be exercising for 6 days, you know, and exercising for 6 days. If you're a new recruit that are pushing into Belarus and you're going to be exercising for 6 days, you know, I wouldn't be very confident in my ability to do anything if I was exercising for 6 days. And then after the 6 days, they told me to do what I've learned throughout those 6 days. I wouldn't know what the fuck to do, because how are you going to learn to do anything in 6 days? You can't learn to do anything in 6 days. You really want to do something. These guys, they would have been training for, you know, the recommended amount, which is up to 6 weeks. You know, fast tracking U.S. Soldiers in World War II, that was a 6-week program, and that was fast tracking. You know, that was doing the heighten of World War II, the time in where it was so intense that they got new recruits to the front, right? Even then, they still conducted 6 weeks training. Whole regiment, 6 weeks, right? Here, they're conducting a 6-day training. Now, they may extend the training to do something else. I mean, they're moving all these systems in. It takes a lot of time to move all these systems in to conduct drills for 6 days. If you're moving all these things in, you're gonna be there for longer than 6 days, and they're probably gonna leave them in Belarus. You know, this is the idea of what we have right here, guys, and you can see it's fucking miles long. It's a really seriously long, you know, railroad system. These are the only things that Russia has that actually somewhat works in our newer systems. The Iskander system are quite new systems. One of the only things that actually works in the Russian arsenal are these systems. Fucking ridiculous. I mean, this is what's happening. If NATO is going to do an exercise, they may move a few systems in, they conduct the exercises, you know, they switch out the teams, so they train up those forces in a scenario. They move a lot of systems in, but they don't move so much in that it would take so much time to get out again. And when they exercise, they use a long time so that the amount of things that they put into the country makes sense. You know, what Russia is doing here is moving so many things into a country and exercising for such a long time that what they're doing doesn't make any sense. It doesn't track any records. When you're exercising, you don't move so many things into a fucking country that you could barely be in the country, you know? And the amount of forces, we still haven't had a head count of the amount of forces that's going to be training. We know it may be Wagner forces, which is massing about 10,000. The Belarusian army, 50,000. Whatever Russia is massing up could be 50,000 as well. Maybe less, maybe more. close. They could probably get it up there about the 100,000 mark. You know, yeah, okay. No, no. Jesus, dude. Okay. Uh, 1 second. Sorry. Looks like a buck kept going around. All right, guys. So that's the news of what we know, right? And that is what we know. That is what we are knowing. That's what we're seeing. I've known about it for a while. Been saying it for a while. You know, maybe Tucker Carlson's right. You know, at this point, who knows? When she's still around, she has a, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, there's some family matters she had to attend to. So, that's as far as I'm going to say. Just don't know if she want me to say. I think she's going to want to say it herself. But yeah, she's still around. She's texting me today. She's got some family matters to take care of. As far as I'm a lot to go. Yeah, I mean, this is getting intense, right? It's getting up there. It's getting up there. Yeah. Yeah. So great. You know, it's amazing. Wow. I just love knowing that we're living in such a fucked up world. I love knowing it. Don't you guys? Don't you guys love knowing that? Come on, guys. Don't you love knowing that? What we know. but we don't know what surprised us. Well, that's the things, right? I mean, in reality, let's imagine that, you know, the U.S. probably knows a lot more than we do, right? Probably knows what's happening here, seen this happening for a while, and they're the one tracking it, I think. So, all right, see you later, Ocean. Have a good time. Thanks for stopping by here in the Cool Kits zone. This is, in fact, the Cool Kits zone. Poland, Estonia, and Latvia, Lithuania issues ultimatum to Belarus demanding the expulsion of Wagner forces. They want them out. They want them out. That's definitely what they would. Well, they definitely want them out, and we know it. You know. They want them out. They aren't taking no for an answer. That's definitely what they're doing. We are not taking no for an answer. We will never surrender. We shall never surrender. That's why. Wow. Lol. All right. Don't get it wrong. People's deception of this world is quite blunt, because our deception of the world is that we're always doing it for the matter of our freedom, right? But freedom has always been a pretext word for a lot of things, right? I mean, the World War II matter was for freedom. Don't get it wrong. You know, the U.S. military industry earned a lot of fucking money. You know, the U.S. arms industry is at the moment earning a lot of money. And there are some people in Stardust War that did in fact invest in the U.S. arms industry. People are like, why are you investing in their arms industry? You know they're not going to go up. And then people said, you know they are. But no matter what, people said, if Russia takes Ukraine, they're not going to stop. And that's what they said. So we might as well invest in the U.S. arms industry. So people are getting rich off the back that, yes, the Ukrainian war is existing. You know, because God damn it. Because you gotta imagine to yourself that there are a lot of people to make money off the factor that these wars exist. And that's, in my mind, okay. Because it means that there's a lot of private there's a lot of private funders. And as soon as people start getting rich and this sort of thing stumbles down, they realize, oh shit, all of a sudden I'm not getting rich anymore. And then they start investing in these companies to continue to exist. So it's kind of like a circle, right? People always think that, oh, you know, it's so corrupt. They're earning money off this. You know, earning money off a situation in many ways that's bad sometimes leads to the continuation of a continued support, because people realizing we're making so much money. You know, World War II when the U.S. arms industry, Hugh, what's his name? It was a plane, Hugh Hercules, I think his name was. Hercules, Hugh Hercules, or something like that. What is his name? Hugh Hercules? Was it his name? The guy with the germ issues. Hugh Hefner? Was it Hugh Hefner? No, his name was Hugh Hercules. I think. Was it Hugh Hefner? It might have been Hugh Hefner. I don't know. But the guy who created the Hercules, I think his name was Hugh Hercules, or whatever, right? A lot of those, during the time of when the arms company was around, the U.S. made billions of dollars selling it, and then they gave a lot of money, billions of dollars, to these arms companies, and these money weren't paying back, you know? Howard Hughes, that's right. Howard Hughes, that's you got it. Howard Hughes. And he was given a lot of money, Howard Hughes, right? And people always, tend to think that the factor was Howard Hughes was given all these money to invest in the arms company, but in fact, he never made a legitimate plane that actually made it to the front. He made the first version of the Hercules, that big ass plane that could take off from the ocean and then, carry massive amount of troops. But the U.S. never needed it. And those money he was paid, weren't even paid back. They weren't literally paid back. So he reaped up the benefits. We've already reaped up the benefits of wartime. People always say wartime is good for business. So yes, in my points of view, people are earning from this. But it is not the U.S. plan to, have this war going. I think there's many people in the U.S. and around the world who are listening to the people, and of course they want to keep public opinion behind supporting, a war. And a lot of people in Europe are supporting it. A lot of people in America are not supporting it. But let's also remember that in World War II, nobody in the U.S. supporting the war, Nobody in the U.S., when we went to war, before Pearl Harbor, supported going to war in Europe, because they'd been at war in Europe. They'd been at war in Europe in World War I. And now they didn't feel like sending, a new batch of young generation to a war that didn't really make any sense, because it wasn't their war. They said it's not our war. Why do we need to send people and our young boys, our young sons to a country there's nothing to do with us, right? But in reality, that's what they're doing. And if it finds out that these politicians are reaping off the benefits of this war, that's what happens. We just have to live with it. Because if it means that there's a huge percentage of Ukraine, and now Ukraine gets to retake their territory, it still means that, yes, there's a lot of people that probably are benefiting off this war. There's no doubt about it. But it also means that the more somebody is benefiting off a war, they have time to reinvest into this war because they want more. It makes sense. It's a whole fucking cycle. It's happened for thousands of years, in fact. It's ever since the first time of war. You think the people who made those weapons for the Roman army, they loved the fact that there was war. Some of the most successful people were the people who made those weapons, who owned those blacksmiths, who made those weapons to the artillery or the armsmen, or made the clothes and all that stuff. Some of those people were some of the most wealthiest in the Roman Empire, because war breeds benefits. But if there's no war, they don't make money, right? It's hard. It's a hard line. It's a hard thing to think of. And some people, you just got to get imagined sometimes. You got to relax. The world is a confusing place. To try and understand the world is a very hard thing. So sometimes you just got to relax and remember, whatever happens, happens. You just got to find your way inside this world. Reacting or even going as far as to blame other people for something. You know, I don't know what I'm talking about at this point. I'm just saying, like, if you want to make it in this world, start not caring about what actually happens in this world. Start seeing the good side of it. Realistically, it's not gonna go on for that much longer. The Ukrainians are breaking through the Russian lines as we're speaking. So realistically, I'm seeing an end of this war in 2024. I'm definitely seeing the end of this war happening in 2024. I don't think the Russians can keep on continuing this war for more than a year, because you know they have their own supply problems. As much as China is conducting and you know literally giving them supplies, they're not, you know, the amount of supplies that China has given them is not going to keep the Russian army alive. And, you know, Chinese made stuff, it's shit. You know, they can make a lot of it, but it's still shit. So it's yeah, there's still a lot to think about there. Anyways, guys, I think I am going to be leaving you guys now. I'm going to end the stream here. Yeah. I mean, realistically, not that much longer. I don't think so. I don't think we're gonna. It is more may even end in 2023. I'm gonna be honest, because whatever happens these next few months, these next September and for next few months are gonna be very important months, because we're gonna have to see what the Russians are doing in Belarus, right? So whatever happens, right? So whatever happens, guys. So have a good night, guys. Sleep tight. I'm going to be back tomorrow with some more news, and